Yeah.
You know how awkward it is to walk up to you like, "Hey, Unc." I'm like,
Yeah, no, I do know. I do know, actually.
they come up to me all the time like, "Unc, how's it going?" And it's like, I don't want to do this
That's
anymore.
hilarious, though, because I honestly thought you were in high school.
No, sir.
And then you're here today, and I see this cool tattoo on your arm, and then you got tattoos, and I'm like, okay. And then you mentioned going to school at Blinn, and I was like, okay, you are Unc.
No, I definitely am Unc.
I love that, though, man. And honestly, that's kind of a cool role to have, because all of those people that I mentioned and that you just mentioned in conversation when I've seen them out, I always ask folks, hey, who should I be, checking out? Who's the next person? Who should I follow? Whatever. And they all say your name.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Every single one of those people. So I know that they love having you around, and I feel like, you're such a talented, gifted songwriter. There's so many of those in that group.
Oh, 100%.
But to have you all cooking something up together, it literally gives me goosebumps when I think about it. And it's a special time in Texas right now. It's a special time in music. We always have, the best music, in my opinion. But I just feel like because of these little pots of music that are going on, we're really in something special right now. And I hope that, as a real Unc here, right, that you guys understand and see that it's happening in real time, because, 10, 15 years down the road, y'all are all going to, look back at these moments, right? And wish you were there, wish you could go back. I just hope you're enjoying the time of your lives. And I really, I'm excited just as a guy who has to come to work and do this as a living every day, that we have something going on that I can look forward to, that I get energized about when I'm in Fort Worth and when I see you guys and when I know you're going to be around. So talk to me about some of your favorite writes with these Texans so far, because you've done a lot of collaboration.
Yeah, I've had the privilege and blessing to do some really cool projects with a lot of people here in town, and I can't say that all the magic has been brewed here. Some stuff's been brewed in Oklahoma with Ty Smith and with some other Okies. Some of my favorite projects as of recently was probably I can think of three almost instantly. One was actually just fairly recently. I got together with Dylan Reese, Ty Smith, and Trent Cowie. Ty came down and was saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be writing some songs for this project I got going on, and I want to bring you in on it." I was like, "Dude, that's a huge privilege. Like, I'd love to be there." And we sat down and we started writing some stuff, and some stuff was cooking, and we got a really good song out the day that we were alone together writing at a Confedo Artist Management. But the day after was the day that it's just like bread and butter, man. It's my favorite thing is when four different artists from four different backgrounds come together, and like they might have met each other in passing, maybe had like a quick like, "Hey dude, how's it going? Okay, cool, see you later, bye," conversation, and they just sit down and they just create this I can't find the right words for it. It's magical. We sat down and we were all throwing around ideas, and Trent just started running with something. And before we knew it, we started cooking and cooking and cooking, and we had like a full course meal. It's a wonderful project, and I believe that Trent is going to cut it, which is a huge privilege to get cuts. I'm supposed to have 3 cuts this year as an artist, which is a huge privilege. I love writing. It's a fun thing, but 4 people, 4 different backgrounds, just creating magic, like it's lightning in a bottle. And it's called Live a Little. I'm probably spilling more than I should, but it's wonderful. When Trent sings it, it's like angels singing, and to be able to just harmonize with them and do it, it's great. Ty's got another song coming out later on at some point this year that I'm not sure how much I can really talk about, but we wrote that one in Oklahoma. I wrote that one with John Teague and Levi Walker and Ty Smith. Dude, John Teague is a singer, and that man can write a song like no other person I've ever met. That man has got ideas, words. Like, he finds ways to just tell a story. And
yeah.
It makes me fascinated, dude.
I don't want to say he's underrated, because I don't think he's yet come into his moment, but he is one of my favorite musicians. He's also a kick-ass human being. And John Teague is fire. So if you haven't checked out the Teague Brothers, so is Ty.
Yeah,
All those guys. Trent, obviously, I love Trent, but yeah, man, that's so awesome. I knew you were doing things, man, but like I said, it energizes me when I hear you and John Teague cooking up something, bro. That's cool, man. That's what this scene needs, dude. Let's talk about your music, though. So, what was it? Last year, you dropped Pride?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, that was your first single out the gate. Tell me a little bit about that song for people who have seen it or want to go check it out.
So, Pride is, another artist had mentioned this, Jeff Kennedy. He said, when you release songs, those are timestamps of a part of your life from that specific moment, and everyone's gonna listen to it and know about it. And so Pride was very much a timestamp of everything that I had really been going through with it. I summed it up all about a heartbreak, which is very true. The person I thought I was going to marry and I ended up splitting ways, and it was a very heartbreaking time, and I was dealing with all those family losses and then going through this breakup and all sorts of just life was happening again. And I'd been writing a lot of songs about it just, to get myself through it. And I finally was like, I got to quit writing all this depressing stuff. Like, there's nothing wrong with writing, sad songs. I'm always a sucker for a sad song and a ballad. But I wanted to, stir the pot a little bit and write something a little upbeat, even if it was sad. And I remember I brought this idea to one of my good writer friends named Tom Turpin. He writes a lot of songs. He's an older guy. He front porch sheriff at the Kenny store. And I was like, hey, let's get together and write. I want to learn something. I need to hang out with an old dog that's been around the block a lot more than I have been alive. And we got together, and I had most of the songs started, and he just kind of helped me navigate the waters a little bit because, writing in the water sometimes is a little muddy. It's a little hard to, get what exactly you want to say in a short amount of time in a most complex way. And we did. And I remember playing it, and I was like, this is different. This isn't anything like I've ever written before. But that's when I knew that it was different, and then that was me that was writing. That wasn't me trying to imitate somebody else, trying to write for somebody else. I was writing for me. And so we always, my ex and I at that time always liked going on trips. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it about driving. And we always talked about going to Galveston, and she always said, oh, well, like if something happens, I'm going to Galveston. I was like, okay, fine. Then I'm just going to write about that. And I did, and it clicked. And it's just the most catchiest thing I think that I had written that year. And I very much grew up with 2000s country. So like tonight, Rascal Flatts is playing at the rodeo. We're going, taking my mom. And, I grew up with Rascal Flatts, Keith Urban, the radio, like 2000s Tim McGraw, Brian McComas, Phil Vassar, all those kinds of guys. So I was like, I want to imitate a little bit of that. And I remember I walked in the studio, I was like, think 2000s country, but think like pushing Keith Urban and Rascal Flatts mix. Because, Dan Huff produced all their stuff. I was like, focus on that. Like, that's the direction. And it came out like it did. And it's still catchy. Like, even though I don't like listening to the song that much because, like, I have to play it all the time. And when you take it in the studio and record stuff like that, you just get tired of your own song. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. But that guitar solo always rips. And it's just stupid catchy. But yeah, no, that was the first single, and that's kind of how that came to fruition, I should say.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. It's cool to hear that. So 2000s country is a big inspire for you? Definitely
100%. Neil Thrasher, Wendell Mobley, Josh Keir, Ashley Gorley. I mean, I got to, throw Shane McAnally and Josh Osborne in there. And I guess you could say, Jeff Hyde and Ryan Tyndall, all those guys. And Brian Simpson, too. Shoot. Man, they all just, it's royalty. It's great.
Yeah.
I love learning from those guys.
Yeah, it's they're all legends. So let me I don't want to you're so sophisticated, and I know music is such a serious thing to you, Henry, but I want to ask the obvious question.
Go for it.
Your name is Henry Williams. Mm-hmm. You sing and play country music, right? Country songs. Does anyone ever call you Hank?
Yes. Jody Booth, he says, no, it's not Hank Williams the fourth, it's Hank Williams the best.
Yeah, I love it.
And I think that's so funny. But yeah, no, I've had a lot of people come and be like, is there any relation? I'm like, they just curiously ask. And
bro, I didn't even think of that. I've known you for over a year, and I only came to that realization today. Mm-hmm. On the way here, I was like, wait, Hank Williams.
there is relation, yes.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Well, tell me the story.
There's not much of a story. It's through marriage. Nothing super crazy. I mean, I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna go knocking on doors and be like, hey, we're related, dude. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like I'm just not that person. Like, I'm just gonna do my own thing. And if they're like, hey, so like, your last name's familiar, I'd be like, yep, there's relation. They're like, oh, cool. Well, like, oh, I'm sorry, rumored relation. One moment it's related, one moment it's not. I mean, Hank Williams was a dog back in the day. We all know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. There's always questions about that, and you know, they always like, well, can you play a Hank Williams song? And they're like, can you play senior? Can you play junior? And
yeah.
They just go back and forth.
That's probably gets old quick, right? They're like, no, I'm gonna play you my song. I'm gonna play you the fourth, the fifth, the best.
Sometimes, yeah, but like, you know, my pawpaw really raised me on, you know, Hank Senior, and I kind of just found Hank Junior on my own, and I love the old stuff. I'm never gonna not.
Sure.
It's great.
Yeah, I just thought it was crazy. Literally just clicked to me this morning, and I was like, wow, I got to bring this up, man. Let me ask you, what does it mean to be, you know, a young artist, a younger artist from Texas that's really kind of helping to create this new scene and this extra momentum and kind of continue what's already been built, man? You're at the forefront of that. What does it mean to you to be an artist in country music in 2026 that represents Texas?
Honestly, I find that as a huge privilege. I mean, to be considered, you know, I guess one of the game changers is, like, I mean, that's a huge blessing, because it seems like everyone's always trying to imitate somebody else, and it's hard to find originality in a lot of what's going on around town these days, not just in Texas, but like in Nashville and other parts of, you know, the country. And, you know, to be able to put my own spin on it and people like actually enjoy it and be like, man, like, you're doing something here. It's like that's just the biggest blessing. Man. I can't be more grateful.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. You know, and every one of those names again that you've mentioned, like you mentioned Jeff Canada, he's a guy that told me about you. You know, so many people resonate with your music, your story, your vibe, your persona, your personality, Henry. If you haven't checked out Henry Williams, I encourage everyone to go do that tonight. Henry Williams sounds like Texas. He's one of our most promising young rising stars here in the Lone Star State. And you're at, is it at the Henry Williams? Official yes, on all the platforms.
Yes, sir, on all platforms.
Do you have any shows? I know you have a new single, Blacktop, coming out in like a couple of weeks, yes, the 27th of this month. Yes, I want to talk to you about that. But is there any other things that we can get folks to go support you on? Any shows or?
So we're kind of playing a little bit of everywhere so far this year. We had to reschedule our Lukenbach date with Chad Cook Band. We're going to be doing that in October 3rd specifically. And I'm going to be at Mudbugs and Music Festival this year with Eli Young Band, Colt Ford, Wayne Toops, and Scotty Alexander. We're first up, so come out early and come hang out. I'm super excited about that show. You know, like I said, grew up in 2000s country. Eli Young Band's right in that realm, so that's great. And we've got a few acoustic shows this month. I'll be in Brenham at Red Velvet Lounge, actually, March 6th, which is this Friday. I'm not sure when this airs, but yeah, that's going to be one. I've got a few more shows next month along that stretch of 290 and 36. It's all on my website, and it's all over the internet somewhere. And then we're going to be at Rhinestone in June with Will Bannister. Dalton Grice is opening for us acoustic, so I'm super excited to be doing another show with Will.
What a great show that's going to be.
Oh, no, I'm so excited.
He's one of my favorites.
Dude, Will has amazing songs. Like, Everything Burns. That's my favorite Will Bannister song. And I
could listen to that guy read the newspaper.
Oh, yeah, he could sing the phone book.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yes, sir. You preach,
he's awesome, man.
I know, he's great.
Yeah, that's killer. So March 27th, the follow-up single, which is your second release. You had
release.
This is a third one. You also had a Christmas song.
Yes, sir, I did.
You had a Christmas song. So this Blacktop. Talk to me about. Were you playing a little bit of that in sound check?
Yeah, that was the chorus.
Yeah. Are you gonna play a little bit of that today?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. So let's dive down that Blacktop road. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Talk to me about the song.
So I want to go back to a little. This is in ties to the song. So growing up, like I said, I grew up with the radio. I grew up with a lot of Nashville-based writers, and one of those artists that I'm like a huge super fan as far as writing works goes is Josh Keir. Josh Keir practically wrote my childhood. Before He Cheats, Carrie Underwood, Need You Now, Lady A, those were the big ones of the early 2000s. He wrote a lot of recent stuff. Most People Are Good, The Highway Don't Care. He wrote Whiskey Colored Crown on Lainey Wilson's last album with Wyatt McCubbin, which was amazing, by the way. I totally recommend you go check out that album and that song. But back to the topic, Josh Keir has, written thousands of songs. I mean, Nashville artists do that all the time. And my bass player is friends with Josh. They grew up in Nashville together and, ran the scene a little bit. And Josh, they went their separate ways, but Josh kept writing. My guitarist went on to, or bassist ran on to run his own company. And they stayed friends. And Josh would share his catalog with him and be like, hey, these are the songs we're not using, or they've been sitting on hold. And I've heard countless demos from songs that have been out for years that it's just, like I said, lightning in a bottle. And one of those songs in the catalog was Blacktop. And I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, this is kind of reminds me of what I grew up with. And it was just like, okay, this song's different than the 500 other songs that I've been listening to. And I was like, I think I want to do something with that one. And rumor had it that Ashley Gorley was on it as well, and surely enough, he was. So I was like, wow, so two hit songwriters writing a song together, that's got to be something. And the song just really started resonating with me, and I knew that it was a little different when I had people coming up that I'd never met. They were like, hey, so we heard you have this song that you got that's about like Blacktop or something. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of odd. All right, then let me go ahead and I guess do something with this. So we sat on it for 2 years, and finally I put my foot down. I told the guys, I was like, hey, this upcoming year of 26, Blacktop is coming out. I don't know when it'll come out, but it's coming out. And then before we knew it, we had it all tracked, and we were like, hey, it's coming out in March. So I was really biting my tongue for a hot minute to not tell people, because we've had it on the table since October of last year that we were going to put it out first this year. And everyone's like, so is Blacktop coming out this year? I'm like, yeah, sure. Trying so hard to blow it off and not let people know. But yeah, no, Blacktop's the Josh Keir and Ashley Gorley song, and I'm just happy to give it home. It's great. That's awesome, man. Where did you record it? I'm so there's so many newer artists that are recording in new studios. So I'm interested to see where you worked on this. So we worked on this at Panhandle Recordings. My guitar player is the head honcho over there.
And where's this at?
They're based, I think, somewhere along I-10. I can't quite remember. I've only been to the main studio a couple times. I mainly work out of his home studio. His name's Vince DeGioia. If y'all guys need any recordings and stuff done, please go to Vince. This is an unpaid promotion. But we recorded it in-house. We really took our time with it, and it usually, when it comes to studios, you usually get it all done in a day, and then they take a month to mix, and then they send it your way, XYZ. But we really took our time with this. And while I was very frustrated about that, I'm actually really grateful we did that, because the product we got is the product that we're going to give to everybody, and it's going to live up to what we've been trying to make it live up to. And so, Panhandle Recordings, based here in Houston. That's
cool. That's another new one that I haven't heard of, to be honest with you.
Yeah, dude, there's all sorts of hidden gems around here, dude.
There's so many new the artists that I had in here last week. They were from Midland, Odessa.
Oh, heck
But they had a new studio that they had, and I was looking at this studio they were showing me, and it was killer, man. It was so nice. And I can't remember what they called it, but, there's just new stuff popping up, and I love hearing about that, man. So would you mind playing Blacktop for us?
Sure.
Yeah. Are you down to do that right now?
I'm down to do that. We can do that. Hopefully this thing stayed in tune.